Recording in progress. Wow, this bitrate is awful. Oh my God. You know why it's awful? Because it's dark. It's dark as hell in this dark ass room I'm in. Look at, maybe it's better if there's like light. I don't know. I'm late. I'm late. Last year, Advent of Code came out. I hopped immediately on that. I don't have a working mouse. Alt S shares the screen. Okay. Sure. Advent of Code. Advent of Code comes out and Joe doesn't do anything. Something weird's going on. That's what that means. So put this tray thing here. I'll grab it later. Put me up here. Ooh, ooh. Okay. Okay. So I haven't looked at it at all. You can see it's unopened. Clearly, I'm logged in. I guess I could have. Starting this year, there will be 12 days of puzzles. Really? No. I just realized that. This is so sad. This is so sad. Okay, anyways. Hopefully you can see. I got Zoom open over here. Maybe that doesn't have like anything that I'm not supposed to show. No, it doesn't. Okay. Um, I got nothing open. We're gonna open it. I'll see what language I'm feeling. I'm probably gonna write it in Rust. Three, two, one, go. Okay. The secret entrance. They also have good and bad news. They discovered project management. This has given them tools they need to prevent their usual Christmas emergency. They have a different emergency. They have no time to decorate the North Pole. I have to finish decorating the North Pole. Okay. Puzzles grant stars. The password seems to have been changed, so you can't get in. Due to security protocols, the password is locked in the safe below. Please see attached document for the new combination. The safe has a dial with only an arrow on it. Around the dial are the numbers 0. My grandma's texting me, but I'm trying to lock in. 0 through 99 in order. Maybe it's important. Thank you. Thank you, Grandma. 0 through 99 in order. As you turn the dial, it makes small click noise as it reaches each number. Okay. The attached document, your puzzle input, contains a sequence of rotations, one per line, which tell you how to open the safe. The rotation starts with L or R, which indicates whether the rotation should be left or right. Um, Left is lower, right is higher. Then the rotation has a distance, which indicates how many clicks the dial should be rotated. So if the dial is 11, if the dial were pointing at 11, a rotation of R8 would put you at what? 19. Okay. L19 will put you at 0. Because the dial is a circle, turning the dial left from 0, one click makes it point directly at 99. Similarly, turning the dial right from 99 makes it point at 0. Interesting. So if the dial were pointing at 5, a rotation of 10 would cause it to go to 95 because 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 minus 5 is 99. It's a little weird that it goes to 99 and not 100. 5 minus 10 is 99. 95. 99. Yeah. 5. 5. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. 99, 98, 97, 96, 95. So instead of 1 to 99 or 1 to 100, they're doing 0 to 99, which is a little, it's like a programmer thing, but it's okay. I might shift all my things. I'm already thinking about this up to 1 to 100 because it's easier to think of 100 than 0, 99. It's just like a human thing. I don't know. So if the dial were pointing at 5, the dial starts pointing at 50. You could follow the instructions, but your recent required official North Pole secret entrance security training seminar, that all those words have nothing to do with the problem. Um, Taught you that the safe is actually a decoy. The actual password is the number of times the dial is left pointing at 0 after any rotation in the sequence. For example, suppose the attached document contained the following rotations. Blah, 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 blah. The rotations follow these would be 50, and then you do that, 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 and boom. Okay. Boom. So I see 3. Okay. Let's take a look at the puzzle input. Interesting. Okay. How big can these numbers be? Much bigger. Much bigger. Okay. This is kind of cool. It's a day one problem. Let's get into it. AOC 2025. We got an email. Texas Instruments is emailing me. I hate them. Uh, bro. Me when I have to use the terminal that I claim I love using. All right, here we are in Rust. Why use Rust? I don't know. What other language would you like me to use? Python? C++? No. No. I could use Go, but I feel like Go is so simple that like you forget it really easily. I don't know. So quickly, I'm gonna have a thing here. Oops. So we have this thing called input.txt, and then in a separate terminal, I haven't changed that much. So just like last year, we can be running this, right? There's a kind of few interesting things I might be able to do today, but use file system and let's just make like a, mm, so we'll get the input. Um, raw input, file system, read to string. Sure. Uh, no input, no input, bro. So this is just getting the input. And we could totally like make sure this is here. See how that looks. Okay. Right. I don't think there's a trailing white space, but we'll see. Okay, so get input, and then we go have to like parse input. So because these are like rotations and we're running them in order matters because if I rotate one to the right and then 50 to the left, that won't get me to zero at all. But if I rotate 50 to the left and then one to the right, that will get me to zero. I got a canvas notification. Stupid. Okay. Maybe you notice I checked my phone more than last year. I made an AOC video last year also. So order matters. And I feel like we just kind of want to unpack these into numbers. They're all they're all unsigned. There's no like minus sign here. Like a minus left, which is be a right. It's like a cool, I bet that's what the second part is. You missed some minus signs. Minus right is actually left. Stupid. That would be a bad. I would be disappointed if that were the second part. Um, I'm thinking of a data structure called a list. A list of structs. That's right, list of structs. Oh my God, compiler design. So we'll like make the struct. It'll be a rotation. I forget how to do this in Rust. Should we have like a, there's like so many cool, intelligent ways to do this. I might even show this, but for now, we'll just say that like it just uses a string. String direction. Okay. Expected colon. I forget syntax. Field string should have snake case. Maybe its direction is a string. Okay. And num is like a unsigned 32-bit number. And then expected a comma. Cool. Um, we can like, how do you derive? What's the derive syntax? It's that apparently. We can derive debug and like default and these. I guess. We don't really need these, so why are we deriving them, right? Stupid. Um, we could implement addition, and that would be kind of cool. I'll see about that. Ample rotation. You might notice like Joe, you don't need a struct. You could just do like a list of lists. But this is cool. And also, if you were actually doing this like for a job or something, which I'm not, you would do not do a list of lists. You would kind of document it better. And so this is kind of the cool part of programming, in my opinion. Anyways, we'll have like a, is it that? Uh, Christ, caps lock was on. Screw me. Good God. All right, sorry, I ran the formatter. Okay. Um, is this valid Rust syntax? Okay, yeah, it is. Um, for now, for now, that's all I'll need. So, and then we'll kind of go as we do. So we're going to use iterators to parse the input. We're going to have our raw input, and we will iter into iter. I think we can just iter because we'll be copying everything here. This is an owned string, and then it's a number. So like, iter. Uh, okay. This lines. This line's like a reference thing. It is lines. And then I guess we kind of want to collect it into an array. Like we want the result of this to be a list. But if for the result of the iterator to be a list, we have to be making an iterator of the thing that we want the list to have elements of. So that's like a map, right? And we need to take the line and do something with it. We need to take the first character and store it as a string, and we need to take the rest of it and parse it. And that parse can't fail. So um, there's like some ways to do that. Lines.cars.first.next. This is disgusting. There might be a better way to do this. Uh, returns a subslice. This looks like it's like byte dependent here. So we can iterate over the characters and then get the first one. Um, and this will be our direction equal this. I know, just relax. Direction is an optional character, so we expect lines must start with character. Okay. This is just great that the LSP is doing this. So now direction is a car. Um, if I wonder if I just say like it's a string, if Russ will get mad at me. It will. I wonder if I just into. Beautiful. Okay. Um, and then let I wonder line.cars took a reference, which means number, which I'll just call them. It ends up being a U32. Line.cars dot next. What has like parse implemented on it? Is it reference to string or string? Mm, Line's a reference to a string. Dot parse. No. Dot cars is empty, find bytes. My grandma texted me. Um, split. Mm. Um, Split should be a byte offset. I'm not using bytes. I'm sorry. Car indices. Return an iterator over the characters of a string slice. Uh, yeah, let's try something. Line.cars dot next dot skip one. Creates an iterator that skips the first n elements. Okay. Dot collect, but like into a reference to a string. Can I do that? Can I do that? Is that a thing I can do? Uh, more copies. Nice. Okay. Num is a U32. I like that I talked about like proper coding before, but like look at this line, bro. Shame on you. Shame on you. Parse have to expect. Okay. And then we will just return a rotation new with the direction and unused map, right? And so from that map, we're going to collect, and this will be our parsed, just we'll call it our input, and it'll be a back of rotations. Cool. And so now if I do something like input, boom, cool. And we can print the input, maybe. Our vectors printable. I don't know. I know it works. It's okay. Stupid, but okay. And now for like the problem solving part, right? We need to start at 50. So, um, I can already imagine it's gonna be mute, but we'll get there. Our current position is going to equal a new rotation. The direction doesn't really matter. The number matters. Um, Actually, why does this need to be a rotation? Because the rotation part doesn't matter. The current pose can actually be can be like a U8, but I'm not going to do that because that makes my life harder. Um, right. And then we do we'll do a for loop. Um, for how do for works? For loops. How do for loops work in Rust? For think and thing. Hmm. Okay. For rot in input. Okay. So we just apply the rotation. Um, hmm. We need to implement wrapping addition and subtraction. Um, I'm thinking of a few easy ways to do that. Let's say we have 50 and we add 50. We want the answer to be 1. right? Because 50 plus 50 is 100, but you get to 99 and you tick to 1. Actually, you tick to 0, right? Um, 50 minus 50 is 0, plus 49, 99, 0, plus 50 is 50. Mm. I'm trying to think of like, if I do 50 plus 100, that gives 150. Can I like modulo that somehow? Is modulo the right answer? Um, oops. Let's run a little Python terminal here. Um, so let's do x plus 50, right? And then I think we're in like base 99. Hmm. Okay. So 50 plus 50, mod 100 gave us 0. Um, 50 minus 50, mod 100 gave us 0. 50 plus 49, mod 100 gave us 99. 0 plus 50, 50. 50 minus 800. Mhm. Um, mod 100 gave us 50. I'm just gonna say like I've programmed long enough that I think this works, but it might not work. And it looks like modulo takes the absolute value kind of for us, which is cool. Um, so we will get our sign, I guess. Um, hmm. Yeah, because that'll be one if statement instead of two. Let each sign one. Nope. Like is it a match statement? Match rot dot direction. And quickly here, the direction's a string, but I'm actually gonna make an enum. Um, because I can. Um, maybe like impl from string, maybe. Impl from stir or from stir. Impl this for this. Yeah. Okay. Um, I don't like this actually, but it's okay. Um, to do, we'll just do like a little match s. Um, r rot. I wish this panicked, honestly, but um, error something will get there. Um, instead of rot, we'll use self. Oops. Why did I jump down there? The the type error equal error. Hmm. Can't find type error, not found the scope. is a string. I'm so sorry. It's an owned string. You literally cannot stop me. Was not R or L. What is the difference between this? Anyways, boom. And then these need to be OKs. And we've got an enum now, which the direction is actually going to be a rot. Let's make my life easier, right? A rot. Um, the direction will be this. Into a string. Mm. Okay, it's kind of torturing me. Let's line cars next expect into. Does that just work? How does from string work? I don't know. It's a built-in trait. It should just work. I'm reading. You can parse. Mmm, interesting. Boom. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that I have added enums here. And then why I add enums? Because I'm pattern matching right here and I can just do this. Um, anyways, if it's R, then we'll do something like this. Um, current pose is equal to, and it's like already feels like it's going a new line. Current pose is equal to current pose for rights, it's plus the rot dot number modulo 100. And then we will just do that. Hopefully that looks good. And now here, here's if current pose is equal to 0. Like say that our hmm, I can't help but notice there's a lot of syntax error here for what looks like a perfectly fine syntax thing, and then if you really, does if not have parentheses and press? Oh, I'm in the match block right now. Oops. And then look at that. Rot does not implement debug. We don't need either of these. Attempt to subtract with overflow. Ah, that's fine. Oh no. Attempt to subtract with overflow. Where is there a U32 here? Where's this happening? 54. Current pose, rot.num. There you go. I didn't save, that's why I didn't rerun. Um, Boom, right? So I was a little bit quiet there, but we have a custom enum to represent the possible rotations we can do. And then we have like a little convenience to get that from a string. We have something to represent the rotations. We can make a new one of those. We read the input, and then we parse the input. Parsing here is a little bit cool because um, it's actually not because it's two lines. We get the direction as a string by taking a iterator over characters and then turning that character into a string, which is a whole memory allocation for one character for each line, which is pretty bad. And then we parse that using the from string that wrote earlier. I feel like this is an example of how the type system can be more confusing because it's two lines. I don't know. And then we get the num pretty standard. Um, we have our start position, we have our counter. If we ever hit the thing, we increment it. The enum's nice here because it like allows us to um, kind of just have our two options. This is a little bit bad because the logic that is conveyed by our types is not coupled to the types, right? I should have made the rotation thing like implement add or something, and then you could add to it or subtract to it. Now I have this type, and then you kind of have to know how to use it and know what it means, which is kind of a poor implementation, but it's okay. And then we print that counter and get our answer. So if I go and grab my puzzle input now, oops, 1084. Drag that over to the Advent of Code window, which seems like we got that right. So pretty cool. Um, we can look at part two, but I'm not super sure I'll be doing it. You're sure that it's the right passcode, but the door won't open. You knock, nobody answers. You build a snowman while you think. As you're rolling the snowballs for your snow and you find no security document, due to newer security protocols, use password method, and then it's a hex number until further notice. Remember from the training seminar, the method hex number means you're actually supposed to count the number of times any click causes the dial to point at zero, regardless of whether it happens during a rotation or at the end of one. Um, Follow the same rotations as above. The dial points at zero a few extra times during its rotation. The dial starts by pointing at 50. The dial is rotated 86, which points it to 82, but it points at zero once. The dial is rotated da 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 da. Um, just curious. No. Would have been cool. Would have been really cool. But you never know. So there's a bunch of ways to do this. Um, I'm thinking of a few. So the first thing that I was thinking of is that in my code, um, I already know how. I'm just going to explain a little bit. In my code, I take the modulo, so I could just do a condition on the pre-modulo number to see if it's outside of the bound. If it runs outside of the bound, that means it's overflowed, which means it's spun around or it should have spun around. And that does what we want, right? And so to restate what I just said, maybe simpler, if a addition or subtraction causes us to go greater than 99 or less than zero, we probably had to pass zero to get there. in a way. Of course, we didn't have to pass zero to get from 99 to 200, but we kind of did in the circle, right? But the issue is, I saw one of my puzzle inputs was 700, and that means I'd have to what count that 7 times? Weird. And so there's a bunch of different ways you could do this. I'm gonna go for the way that requires the least modification of my um, least modification of my solution, right? And so literally what we'll do here is for each rotation, we will match on the rotation's direction here. Oops. And then instead of running the sum all at once, we'll iterate the sum tick, 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 tick. So um, that's what we'll do. So my idea is something like for I in range one, if the number is 50, you'd want to add, I guess it doesn't really matter, 0 up to and including rot.num, right? Like that. And then actually, before I do this, version control is very nice. Part one. Um, Maybe you can hear that my roommate's back. He's not happy about something. Anyways, here we go. And now the current pose is going to actually end up um, being added to one, and then current pose equals current pose plus one, and then we'll still keep that modulo 100. Yeah, he's very unhappy. Current pose plus one mod 100, and now just if current pose is equal to 0, we can um, this is starting to feel not very dry because see what that. The reason this doesn't feel very dry is because now I'd have to kind of do that, and then so let's see, just like ball a little bit, and this might be the right answer. I kind of like solutions where you don't really have to. It's not the right answer. It's too high. Yeah. Well, I didn't mess up last year, so this is kind of good. Let's work on this one here. Smaller input. Oops. Okay. So this gave me 9. Um, and they're saying that for it would be 6. Bum 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 bum. So I guess let's test my logic a little here. It starts at 50 and then is 60 subtracted. So 50 minus 68 is this number, mod 100. Oops. Is 82. So no, that part is right. Um, let's see. So for 0 into number of rotations, so if it's 50, it will run from 0 to 4 now, which is 50 times. The current position would be incremented, and then my computer's gonna die. Current position would be incremented and then moduloed. If the current position ends up equaling 0 after doing that, we can increment our counter. Current position plus 1, current position minus 1. If current position equals 0, counter plus equal 1. Hmm. Kind of weird. Kind of weird that it's not working. It says one, two, three, four. Oh, maybe I misread the instructions. You're supposed to count the number of times any click causes the dial point to get to zero, regardless of whether it happens during or at the end. Um, I kind of have an insight here, which is that we're off by like a scale of 1.5, right? And so if I bet that like factor is the same. So this number, but it said my answer was too high. If I divide 9 by 1.5, I get the right answer, right? This is my pattern recognizing brain. Um, and so I bet if I divide this number by 1.5, I won't have to debug my code. Um, we'll see about that. This is like a little bit of a shot in the dark because I'd like to be done. I'm gonna read the instructions again. You're sure it's the right password, but the door won't open. Remember from the training seminar that method means you're actually supposed to count the number of times any click causes the dial to point at zero, regardless of whether it happens during a rotation or at the end of one. Following the same rotations as in the above example, the dial points at zero a few extra times during its rotation. Huh. 9. Hmm. Well, I guess. Maybe I'll point the start, the zeros, and the end. The start is going to be the current post. The zeros, we can print 0 R. And here we'll print 0L. Um, oh, okay, never mind. Okay, stupid, stupid one-line bug. Sorry about that, guys. That was embarrassing, but yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so to be clear, the bug was I left this old counting thing here, and then I moved my counting logic and I left my old counting logic, which not awesome. Thank you for formatting it like that, Russ. This is so much more readable. Anyways, um, people who think a lot more about computer science than me formatted that, so it's okay. Part two. Nice. That's part two done. I don't know about doing part two here. I think I'm good, but it's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you. Can the meeting. Let me out.